Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, tending the emotions, having a breakdown. A lot of us here in America are having that now because, we got the narcissistic sociopaths, pathological liars running the country, and that's a shame. It's giving us a breakdown. Most of us have had the experience of holding back our emotions for such a long period of time that when they finally come out, we have something resembling a breakdown. And I was just talking about this with my middle son about when I lived with my in-laws, that I'd never met any people like them before, didn't know there were people like them in the world, and it gave me a nervous breakdown. And sometimes this happens, sometimes emotions are too much, they overwhelm us, and we have to, take a break. Just like your car breaks down, your mind will break down too. For a certain period of time, the overwhelming flood of feelings coursing through our bodies consumes us, and we stop functioning. That's what we got a new house. We got out of there, and I needed a break. I needed a rest. I took a little time before I set everything up and did everything because I needed a break. And sometimes that's what you need. If something's overwhelming, you come through a bad experience, you need a little break. Often, these outbursts take us by surprise, welling up within us as we drive to and from work, watch a movie, or engage in some otherwise mundane task. And that can be true. You can just be sitting there and suddenly this stuff gets to be too much. I worked at an office where there was some pretty nasty people. And on a daily basis, one or more of them would say some nasty stuff to me. And I remember on my way home, I would just be like, why are they like this? Why do they think this? How do they even think this? And, I don't understand what's going on. Because something should be, but it doesn't seem like it. But, sometimes we just are overwhelmed. And we dwell on stuff, which we shouldn't do. We should let it go. But that's not always easy, especially if it's a personal slight or something that affects us personally. It's harder to just let it go. We may feel like we do not know what triggered us. Or if we do know, it does not make sense of our overpowering emotional response. And sometimes that can be true. Sometimes it's a cumulative thing. This happened, then this happened, then this. And finally, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, as the saying goes. And now we're bawling all over the place. And it wasn't even that specific event. It was all this stuff. And that was just what broke the dam. So sometimes that's the case. And that's okay. Because it's healthy to cry. It's healthy to let stuff out, so that it doesn't stay pent up and drive you off the rails even more. This is because we are releasing feelings that have accumulated over a long period of time, and whatever inspired the release was just a catalyst for a much larger, much needed catharsis, like I basically just said. When we find ourselves in the midst of such an experience, it is important that we allow it to happen, rather than fight it or try to shut down. And that's what a lot of people, especially men, will do, is they'll shut down. They'll shut out. They'll be like, no, done. This is it. No, we're not talking about this no more or whatever. Because they can't process the emotions. And men are modal anyway. They have 3 times less connections in the corpus callosum of their brain than women do. They have to shift gears. They're like a stick shift. We're like an automatic. It just happens, and they can't process as fast as we can. So a lot of times they'll shut us down because they just can't keep up emotionally. And then some people are not good with strong emotions. Most people on the autism spectrum are not good with strong emotions. And so they will shut down rather than deal with that. But the best thing you can do is to deal with stuff as it comes up. Deal with it then. Don't push it back, because then it's going to build up until you kaboom. So, deal with stuff as it happens. Get it over with. It's like me and my husband learned, about dwelling and things when we were doing some couples counseling. And it's like, talk about it now, get it over with. And then you can move on with your life. When we find ourselves in the midst, we got there. Wherever we are, we can try to find a private, safe place in which to let our feelings out. And usually in your bedroom, screaming to your pillow. I did that many a day. Cry in the bathroom, whatever you need to do to just let it out. If we cannot access such a place immediately, we can promise to set aside some time for ourselves at our earliest possible convenience. Perhaps taking a day off of work. And, I took a mental health day the other day because stuff was piling up on me and I was getting upset and I didn't feel good anyway. So I was like, you know what? I don't feel good anyway. I'm upset about the situation that's going on. So I'm taking a mental health day. I'm going to lay down, do nothing, binge watch some TV, and then, my stomach stopped being upset and I felt better. And so the next day I was fine. And usually it only takes a day or so to get yourself back upright. The important thing is that we need to give our emotional system some much needed attention. And a lot of people don't think about that. That your emotions are about a fourth part of who you are. When we're doing studies about, the parts of a human being, now there's gabillions of parts. But anyway, boils down to spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Your emotions are something you don't usually think about. They're just things that happen. And there are some people who are emotionally immature and their emotions just kind of spill out all over everybody else. And that's something that I don't care for. It's like, get a grip. But that is something you need to think about because you do have an emotional health and that's something that you need to take care of. It is essential that we allow ourselves to release the pent-up emotions inside ourselves so that they do not create imbalance in our bodies and minds. Because we all know that emotional and mental problems can spill over into your physical life. That it can cause high blood pressure, heart problems and things. So, it is important to take care of those. When you're feeling better, make a plan to find a way to process your emotions more regularly. And, like I say, journaling is a good thing. Take maybe like half an hour before bedtime, run through your day, deal with anything mentally and emotionally that upsets you through the day, and then have a free slate to go to sleep on. You can do this by employing a therapist or making a regular date to talk to a trusted friend. And like I said, in America, there's still a stigma with therapy. But it's probably the best thing. If you know you're dysfunctional mentally and emotionally, it's probably the best thing for you is to go to a therapist and talk it out. Figure out what's my problem. Because I got a problem and it's messing up my life, and so we need to work on this. And then you get it straightened out and you get to move on and be okay. So there's no shame in going to see a therapist. It's probably a good thing for you if you are having problems that are messing your life up. Journaling can also be a great way to acknowledge and release your emotions, as can certain forms of meditation. And like I said, that's something I do, and that's something that I recommended to my coaching clients and my students. Making room in your life for tending your emotions on a regular basis will help keep you healthy, balanced, and ready for life. And that's what you all want to be, right? Healthy, balanced, and ready for life. So, if you feel like you're having a breakdown, you need to tend to your emotions. A lot of people talk about, the garden of the mind. Well, the garden of the emotions too. If you feel like you need to take care of it, water it, feed it, whatever, You need to do that. So, think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to the Patreon page and become a patron. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.